Hi there, and welcome everyone to Top 8 of the Norwalk Midseason Showdown. I'm Gavin Michaels, joined today by Kimo Nishimura.
What is up, everyone?
And the round we're going to be streaming right now is going to be Alicia Martinez, who was 5-1 and the second seed, up against Stephen Ma, not Patrick Smith, who was 4-2 and the 7th seed. So we had Alicia on stream earlier, but we have not had Steven on today, and his team is real interesting. As you can see right on the bottom there, we have Ninetales, Togedemaru, Gyarados, Naganadel, Amoonguss, and Tapu Fini.
It's a really interesting dynamic, I think. You're going to see the teams in a second. You've seen Alicia's team earlier. Steven's team is definitely more in line with like the 2017 kind of archetype. You have Ninetales, Togedemaru, Fini. I mean, those mons were on the London Winding team, the team that won London. As for Alicia's team, it is very much like the Japan Sand archetype that was pretty big in about spring of 2015. You have Azumarill, we're going to see it right here. Ninetales, Togedemaru, Gyarados, Naganadel, Amoonguss, and Tapu Fini versus Azumarill, Tyranitar, Salamence, Excadrill, Amoonguss, and Aegislash.
Right, and I think your kind of first instinct is going to be just looking at Steven's team, and his only Mega option is that Mega Gyarados, which we haven't seen in a long time.
No.
Not since 2014 have we seen it used successfully. And Alicia does have tools to deal with it. She does have the Azumarill and the Amoonguss, which are around as good of tools as you could ask for. And you also have the Sand to take care of the hail that Steven is providing. So I'd say that this is definitely going to be an uphill matchup for Steven, and it's going to really depend on what kind of interesting tricks he can bring out, because really it looks like Alicia has, at least on paper, not discounting all the tricks that I'm sure Steven has, to deal with it appropriately.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I think that analysis was pretty spot on, but like the Tyranitar is just obviously like a natural annoyance for Ninetales, but there's like the Naganadel, traditionally, as we've seen so far in the meta, don't really deal with Tyranitar. Mega Gyarados is like a kinda, but like she has a lot of tools. Intimidate, a water type, a grass type, in order to handle a Mega Gyarados. Tapu Fini on her side kind of prevents her own like spore game. It's going to be interesting to see like the little tricks that Steven's going to pull out here.
Yeah, I think the Togedemaru also could be a very interesting tool for Steven, because as we saw, Alicia, like her only easy way of hitting Togedemaru, or at least obviously, would be with the Excadrill. And I mean, you do have the Aegislash, but with Aegislash you always have to be careful of, I mean, it's taking a lot of damage if it's in Blade form, and of course Togedemaru is known to run Encore, which can really ruin Aegislash's day.
The shiny is very good. I almost considered running it just for that reason. We see Salamence and Amoonguss come out from Alicia, and Togedemaru, Naganadel from Steven. Pretty even lead matchup, I say. Maybe a bit towards Steven's side just because the fake out dragon type pressure. It's pretty annoying first turn.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it does depend on ultimately what Alicia's moveset on her Salamence is. If she has the Draco Meteor, then it's like pretty clear cut.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, she can't freely double protect either, because if she goes to a double protect, since as we know Togedemaru's love to use Encore, then Amoonguss is kind of forced to Rage Powder here. Although I will say that once fake out pressure is gotten rid of, Togedemaru is really not doing a whole lot, so that could become a bit of a liability for Steven.
It's interesting for me to see the timer start red. It's just very odd to see. We do see the fake out come out right into the Amoonguss slot. No Mega from the Salamence, as we see the Tailwind come out from Dr. Bees himself. This leaves Salamence pretty free to just, counter Tailwind. I'm digging it.
Right. I think it's really interesting that Alicia did that. For one, that's obviously extremely risky, but worked out phenomenally. But also, we didn't see the Mega Evolution. So what that could mean is we know that Alicia has the Tyranitar, so we could have it be her game plan is to go with the Mega Tyranitar, or she just really wants to preserve the Intimidate for later on. But regardless, Alicia did a great job of just matching Tailwinds, and I mean, that is a hard read. I don't think you can, like, undervalue that at all.
I mean, throughout the tournament today, if you've been hearing whispers about how well Alicia's been playing, and that is a turn that just shows that's true. We do see Tapu Fini come out on the Naganadel slot, just in case Draco Meteor is on that Salamence, the Fairy Immunity going to kick in.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Togedemaru is going to stay, and Togedemaru is really not going to be doing a whole lot here. Yeah, so we do see the Mega on Salamence eventually. It's going to be going with a hard hit here.
The Rage Powder just to cover the Draco Meteor slot from the opposing Naganadel, which is no longer in play. Double Edge or Hyper Voice? Hyper Voice coming out, removing the possible Focus Sash on the Togedemaru, doing decent damage on Tapu Fini. Iron Head, new move that it got from Ultra Sun and Moon. It used to only have Gyro Ball.
Yeah, so Togedemaru has a totally new moveset. So it's going to be interesting to see if Steven has any of the other new tools that it has access to. But regardless, Salamence is in a great spot here. Usually up against Togedemaru and Tapu Fini wouldn't be ideal, but with the Amoonguss using Rage Powder, I mean, Alicia is really free to just go for the Rage Powder and continue dealing out damage with the Salamence, and Steven really doesn't have anything to stop it.
Not at all.
Yeah, getting the Fini in is like, okay, that can survive the Hyper Voice pretty well, but what are you going to actually do?
The momentum's totally in Alicia's favor. We do see Togedemaru get out of there. Something that could get you in a bit of a better spot is we do see the Gyarados come out. Not really something that's going to take that Hyper Voice. And if the Hard Read Spore came out, that's a sleeping Gyarados.
Yeah, that would be a massive play.
Okay, just went for the Protect, playing it safe, trying to figure out what that Tapu Fini moveset is. As we do see Dazzling Gleam, something that was just totally ignored Rage Powder. Amoonguss taking nothing, but pretty good trade. Giga Drain coming out, not Sludge Bomb has become more popular, and decent damage considering bulkier Fini tend not to run Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, no, that was a fantastic call by Alicia there. Recognizing the damage that Hyper Voice did onto the Tapu Fini, because that was a hefty chunk. And usually we see Tapu Finis really investing in their bulk, especially their special defense. So Alicia recognized that, saw, okay, it's probably a Frail Fini, either a Choice Specs or a Choice Scarf, which tend to be the ones that use Dazzling Gleam, and really just called that expertly. So phenomenal turn for Alicia, because now the Amoonguss is free to just... It's going to be such a hassle for Gyarados this entire game, and Tapu Fini isn't going to be able to take an attack from the Salamence.
But it does go into the Togedemaru, which can take that attack, but really, we're really seeing Steven on the back foot. The Double Edge comes out, smacking the Togedemaru for what seems like pretty pitiful damage. That Intimidate helping out a lot. Dragon Dance coming out, not going Mega, which is interesting to me considering the Misty Terrain could have helped against the Spore. Or maybe trying to avoid the Giga Drain, but we do see the Spore come out.
Yeah, there what I think Steven was trying to go for there was making a read that Alicia would predict the Mega Evolution and decide, okay, I can't Spore, so I'm just going to Giga Drain here and just try to abuse that, but ultimately that was a bit of a greedy play.
A little bit,
just a bit greedy. And now Alicia, I mean, it's hard to see how she loses this, honestly, because Gyarados is really the only thing that Steven has to gain momentum with. He has the Togedemaru out, but that's really not doing much to either here. The Tapu Fini is at too low of HP to really make an impact. So then it all comes down to the Naganadel, which is really frail.
Yeah, it's basically the Dragon-type version of Neolego in 2017. We see the Tyranitar come out, just trying to spread out the sand damage a little bit. Make sure that Amoonguss gets the Regenerator. It's very helpful for later. Gyarados not waking up just yet. Tailwind coming back out, pretty safe to do. Just maintain your speed control. Like, you want to move first. You want to inflict that damage immediately. So we see the Iron Head come out.
Oh, that's going to do...
Super effective damage. Wow, that actually did a lot more than I would expect.
Good job, Togedemaru. Honestly.
Yeah, dude, like, pretty solid damage.
Yeah, so... Even though Alicia took more damage there than she would have wanted, this is still a really good spot, because now Tyranitar can outrun, use Rock Slide to its heart's content. Salamence can still dish out a ton of damage. Well, not necessarily a ton, but Hyper Voice really covers the switch-ins very well. And Steven still doesn't have a way to suddenly get momentum. He can't even Dragon Dance now to be faster. 2 Dragon Dances still means that Alicia Salamence is faster.
I would like to see the Mega come out, maybe waking up in another Dragon Dance just to build up some kind of position. Togedemaru could be safe for another turn depending on the Tyranitar and Salamence movesets. A move like Nuzzle could really change the tide here.
Oh, absolutely.
We do see the Mega come out, just gonna... Like, it just makes sense. You don't want that Rock Slide damage. You gain stats because you're a Mega now. You're immune to Spore. Mold Breaker, which is kind of cool, I guess, doesn't really do anything. We do see the Wake Up, but the Protect instead of the Dragon Dance, just trying to build up a better position to start dancing on him.
I mean, that makes sense, because the Togedemaru is pretty free to get off another attack here, and even though you can take a Rock Slide comfortably, you don't want to take damage, especially because you're already down positionally a lot. The one advantage that you could have is just out-bulking your opponent here.
Togedemaru taking a pretty large amount of damage, and the flinch comes out pretty devastating. Like, it could have been a nuzzle, it could have been an encore. Like, it could have enabled Gyarados to set up a lot safer than it currently will.
Yeah, no, I mean, Togedemaru just has such a wide utility move, and you gotta feel for Steven there, but it could be worse. The Tyranitar is in there, but it probably can't do that much to the Gyarados. It does depend on its moveset, obviously, but, I mean, Togedemaru taking damage isn't really a bad thing. At the very least, you can try to start stalling out Tailwind and maybe try to set up for a 3v4 sweep later on.
We do see Helping Hand come out, another new little tool in the kit of Togedemaru as the Hyper Voice comes out, probably picking up the KO on Togedemaru. Oh no, he's hanging on! Hopefully that... Oh, okay, Rock Slide is going to remove that. But hopefully the Helping Hand attack from Gyarados can make a difference in the positioning here. It's looking pretty grim for Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a big damage off here...
well, man.
That's not big damage at all.
No, that's anti-damage. That's negative damage.
Yeah, he took sand damage.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Negative
That's
damage.
negative damage.
Yeah, now you really have to just rely on the Naganadel at this point. Because Tapu Fini is at too low of HP to really do anything.
I don't think it could do a thing.
Yeah, and at this point, Steven's best tool to win this matchup is Hope.
I agree. Hope and RNG.
Yeah. Throw in a little bit of Power of Friendship, and I think that we could make this happen, but otherwise it's going to be real tough for Steven, especially because he only has 1 minute on the clock remaining.
God, it just moves so fast, that timer.
It's so fast.
We do see the Double Protect come out, just trying to stall out that Tailwind. The Naganadel move set is pretty interesting, the item. We do see the Hyper Voice come out, but what's really important for Alicia moving into Game 2 is trying to just find out as much information as possible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Steven still has a chance here, which is why he isn't forfeiting, but Alicia can get a lot here. She's in such a favorable position that it's hard to imagine her losing. I mean, the Gyarados could outspeed the Salamence and one-shot it with something like an Ice Fang. I mean, that is a potential tool that Steven can use to get back in the matchup, but if he doesn't have Ice Fang, then, I mean, it's a matter of what can you do?
Like, potentially outspeed and go for a Waterfall flinch, and then hope Rock Slide misses. I mean, there are outs, as grim as they might seem.
But you still have to deal with the 2 Pokemon in the back, and we still have the Amoonguss, which is...
Yeah.
Amoonguss can freely spore whatever it wants, and it's knocking out the Gyarados and the Fini at this point.
We see Tyranitar switch out for that Mushroom Friend. Just so much health thanks to that regenerator from earlier. We do see the Protect come out, just making sure that Salamence can enable itself to finish this game cleanly. The Waterfall did come out, probably going for the flinch as we see Tailwind.
Yeah, but that was still a really good turn for Alicia.
Yes.
I mean, Steven was going for the Waterfall flinch there, so it's like, oh, if Alicia didn't protect, she could have just got more damage off, but you want to be safe there. You don't want to risk that, especially when you're up by so much, and now Alicia can just freely Rage Powder and Hyper Voice and almost assuredly win the game.
Yeah, at this point, you really should just be thinking about the second game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Crunch is going to come in. We can see how much damage that does. That does a
Wow,
ton.
oh, okay.
I was going to say...
I mean, learning the berry is nice for Game 2, I guess. I mean...
Yeah, no,
if you had to guess randomly, it would be that, but
yeah,
it's nice
that's
to
true.
confirm.
I mean, honestly, I saw the Crunch come out, do that damage, it's like, wait a minute, Mega Gyarados is good? Okay, so Hyper Voice is going to come out. It should be enough to knock out the Gyarados, at least. So now Tyranitar probably just cleans up at this point.
Probably. I mean, maybe if Fini can get a crit and survive?
Well, I mean,
Maybe?
Tailwind is still up.
Tailwind is up.
So a Flamethrower on the Amoonguss and Moonblast onto the Salamence will knock both out. But Alicia has 4 Mons. She can play to stall out Tailwind. And, I mean, we don't even know what her 4th Mon is. That's the really frustrating thing for Steven. Because
it's a lot of, like, concealed information.
It's so hard to make those adjustments properly when you don't know the back one. Alicia is just going for the Rage Powder, though. As we do see the Z
I have
move.
never seen that dance before.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's unfortunate, really. Just like, it was information that really didn't need to be revealed at that point of the game.
Plus,
like,
it probably didn't help him win that much either.
Didn't.
Yeah, because you would assume if it had a Dragon move that would be able to knock out the
or
Salamence
even
as
just
well.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so a bit of an interesting decision there, but it is 2-2 right now, and you do have Tailwind with Beast Boost up, so it's going to come down to what Alicia has him back, assuming that Dazzling Gleam is able to knock out the Salamence, which it is. Now, Tyranitar, probably in range for the Dazzling Gleam.
Absolutely, I'd say so.
And I really do question Alicia not trying to stall out that Tailwind.
Yeah.
Because
Like, I think that was the rationale behind the Z move, was to punish the switch, like, for trying to get the regenerator. Oh, Excadrill is like the perfect thing to have in this situation. Also, 17 seconds is the perfect thing to have in this situation.
Yeah. The one issue though is that Tailwind is still up.
Yeah.
So Dr. Bees is still the
should be
fastest
the
thing on the
fastest
field.
guy around.
And there's going to be a couple more turns where Bees is just faster than everything else. So I'm not sure if Alicia is as secure as she thought she did, unless that Excadrill is Focus Sash.
Focus Sash ties up the game. We do see the Protect, which leads me to believe it is not.
Yeah, no, it's just Flamethrower coming out, not gonna do much. You should see the Feeny move first here.
Yes. Dazzle probably going to pick it up on this Tyranitar.
I mean,
it
you'd
is
expect it
probably
to.
Choice Specs. That, to me, basically confirms that it's Choice Specs. That was a good 45%.
Yeah, that's almost assuredly Choice Specs. And I believe there's still another turn of Tailwind.
I think so, too. Oh,
Oh,
no!
no. Okay, never mind.
Dude, money!
Alicia's just much better than us.
Yeah, I mean, she has that nice little button on this bottom screen that lets you know how many turns are left.
That's true, that's true. I mean, Steven also has a solid 5 seconds left, but yeah. I mean, very well played by Alicia.
Yeah.
She took control of the game very early on by being willing to make these aggressive plays. And then in the late game, she really sealed it up because she knew that she had the Tyranitar and the Excadrill.
Yeah, knowing Excadrill is in the back changes a lot of the perspective on enemy turns. It makes risking Amoonguss in that situation earlier and, like, probably gaining that Z-move information is more important than the survival of Amoonguss at that point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because you didn't reveal any information about the Excadrill either. Just the fact that it has Protect.
Earthquake and Protect.
And it's not Life Orb, I guess.
Yeah, but they shouldn't run Life Orb at this point.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So, yeah, I definitely say that worked out in Alicia's favor. Now, if you're looking at potential adjustments for Steven, it's tough because
it is difficult.
You need to adjust for the Sand mode, which you didn't even get to see. You didn't even get to see what worked and what didn't. So you're really just saying, okay, what can I do against the Salamence Amoonguss lead? And I mean, you could see the Ninetales come out there, but that's just so risky considering the Sand mode.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I think Ninetales isn't a terrible idea, and it might be a game you want to invest in. Just considering that Stephen doesn't really have a lot of tools to counter Amoonguss. His main strategy is, I'm going to set up Dragon Dance and hope that I chip you enough during to KO you.
Well, the Poisonium, or the Acid Downpour, rather, from the Naganadel could do a whole bunch of damage to the Amoonguss. So we do have that option as well. But yeah, I definitely think it's the Amoonguss that really needs to be focused down here. Because we saw that Steven had a lot of tools, ultimately, for the Salamence. You had the Intimidate. Togedemaru has so much potentially that it could do to the Salamence. Worst case scenario, it's Iron Heading it and taking no damage from it, so that's something. You have the Dazzling Gleam from the Tapu Fini. It's just a matter of how do you get around this Amoonguss.
Yeah, I think that's what the game comes down to. So I would enjoy to see him try and play that Ninetales game, even if Tyranitar is scary and probably just a better mon in the format currently than Ninetales.
Yeah.
Which makes it, I mean, like you said earlier, an uphill battle. It's definitely what it is. We see Alicia locked in. It's going to be exciting to see how she goes about this. I'd say the first 5, if not more, turns of the last game, she played perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that one thing to note here, too, is that Alicia's using a team that's been tried and tested for several years now. This is the team that ultimately came about for a ton of people testing how to make this as good as possible in 2015. And Steven's kind of going with a newer thing. So maybe his team building didn't exactly prepare for how do I beat Salamence and Amoonguss when I can't bring Ninetales.
We do see the exact same leads from both players, but this time the information changes things a bit. We're pretty sure that's Specs Tapu Fini.
Yeah.
We know that Salamence doesn't have a Dragon move. We know it's Poisonium Z, which might be able to put a huge dent in Amoonguss, even though there's no way that's going to win hit KO, but still nice to know.
I mean, the worst thing that Amoonguss is doing to Tapu Fini here, though, is doing around 40% with a Sludge Bomb. And
It's got Giga Drain.
Oh, and Giga Drain.
Does it have both? Did we see both?
No, just Giga Drain, actually. I just assumed that it's using Sludge Bomb.
No, it's an easy assumption to make in this meta.
So, I mean, Tapu Fini really isn't pressured here. So it's going to be interesting to see what Alicia does to respond to that. You could see a Protect on Salamence and a Giga Drain onto the Tapu Fini to knock it into double edge range.
I would like that a lot.
But that's letting Amoonguss take a lot of damage here. Okay.
We do see the Tailwind come out just like the first game, except this time Salamence went Mega immediately. Not a lot of use for that Intimidate. The counter Tailwind coming out, tying each other in terms of speed. What will Tapu... Oh, going right for that Dazzling Gleam. That would do a ton of damage. Pretty hard to double edge at this point.
Yeah,
and we just see... Oh, it does have both.
It does have...
Are you a prophet, Gavin Michaels?
No, his team sheet's just wrong.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's actually wrong.
Oh, dude, yeah, you were right. Ooh, man, we are dealing with faulty information, folks.
Dun, dun, dun. I mean, regardless, Salamence is
Yeah,
able
I mean,
to
we're in this
survive
situation.
that.
Let's not
So,
focus on that.
it can do a ton of damage with Double Edge. I mean, it can knock out the Tapu Fini pretty cleanly here, or it could just do enough damage to the Naganadel that Amoonguss would be in a good enough spot to really just clean up the game.
One issue, though, is that Double Edge is almost absolutely going to self-recoil that KO that Salamence. And it's kind of important. Tapu Fini going out for Round Shoe, my boy Togedemaru, resisting all of Salamance's attacks, just going for the Protect, not willing to risk Salamance's position in this game just yet. Well, the Poison Z comes back out. I would like to see how much this really does to Amoonguss from like a full health, just normal spot.
I mean, Amoonguss is absolutely going to be able to take it. It's just a matter of
100%.
how much. And I mean, if you're Alicia here, you might want it to do enough to activate your berry here.
Have you really thought about how ridiculous? I'm sure you've thought of it, but like, for the sake of asking, have you thought about how ridiculous Berry Amoonguss is? Like, you get 50% health back, you can switch, and then you get 33% more health back. It's crazy.
Yeah, it can just live forever. The only issue is making sure that it's being useful when you have Misty Terrain up. Because right now, Giga Drain isn't going to be doing so much to the Steel Electric Mon and the Poison Dragon Mon, and neither is Sludge Bomb.
And you can't just double edge because the Salamence will KO itself. It's like a lot better going than the first game. Probably didn't even need Ninetales, just better positioning has really created a difference in the games.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be interesting to see if Alicia can really try to get value out of the Amoonguss by... I mean, you have to assume that Salamence is going to try to switch out here. Because,
Probably.
If they do have the Excadrill, or if Alicia has the Excadrill, then it can come in pretty safely here because a Flamethrower isn't too likely. And if you can start setting up a Sand Sweep here, that could just be absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Because Earthquake would be able to knock out both Togedemaru and Dr. Bees.
That might have been a empty timer. Salamence getting out of there. We are going right into Excadrill as opposed to Tyranitar. Just trying to set up a position for later where you can bring in Tyranitar and kind of start the situation. But Gyarados comes out. Not too friendly to Excadrill, I'd say. And this is looking like a pretty excellent position.
Yeah, that is a strong play by Steven. Just getting your Gyarados in a really good spot.
Okay, we do see both the Sandmons come out, and that makes a lot of sense, you know. Tailwind in conjunction with that Sand offense is pretty scary, because even if you Tailwind yourself, you still have that ridiculous speed coming out. Iron Head coming out in the Excadrill. That did a lot of damage.
That did more than I thought it would do.
That did way more. Like, it almost feels to me that the Ultra Sun Moon HP bars move differently to
no, they
Sun
absolutely
and Moon. Like,
do.
it's
They
very bizarre.
They delete super quickly. But now, I mean, Alicia's in a position where she can really just freely use Rock Slide. And she also has this option of she can threaten the KO onto the Togedemaru enough that maybe Steven gives her room to start setting up with the Tyranitar.
It's a little difficult just because the Amoonguss is still around in perfect condition, basically, because Regenerator should put it back to about 100, if not like 95. Gyarados does look in a current great position. It's pretty easy to just Dragon Dance, but like, how long-term, how are you going to handle that?
Right, and I mean, if Gyarados takes a whole lot of damage here, once again, you're reliant on the Tapu Fini and Naganadel to really win the game for you. And I mean, it's going to be hard, especially if everything's in range of an Excadrill. We do see the Rock Slide coming out. And I mean, I'm expecting flinches here. I don't know.
I mean, that's what you're going for, right? Ooh,
low
that kick.
Is a Choice Scarf Tyranitar.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Okay, that might be the end of the game. Oh, we do see the flinch. Oh, yeah, that is brutal. Oh, man. Especially since now you can just pretty freely Earthquake and switch to Salamence, so there's nothing to really punish you.
No, I mean, Alicia went fishing for the Mega Evolve, and she caught a shrimp right where she wanted
I mean,
it.
she did press Rock Slide, which would at least hit the Gyarados if it didn't Mega. It probably wouldn't have been as catastrophic as Megaing there, but it was pretty good.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, that worked out phenomenally for Alicia, and she really preserved the information that she had that Choice Scarf on Tyranitar until the perfect moment. where Steven thought, okay, I can start getting something rolling with Gyarados here, and just was absolutely in the position to just shut him down.
I have almost no doubt that she'll go for Earthquake Salamis, but I would be kind of afraid that it didn't KO. But that is something that kind of helps that issue.
Oh yeah, no. That's going to be a Tectonic Rage.
Yeah,
it is at -1, so it might not KO, but however much damage it does, it's going to do a ton. I mean, if it does, targets the Togedemaru, that would KO.
No, I think it'll KO Feeny. Do you want to bet some, like, $5?
Give me a second. Give me a couple seconds to think about it. Just give me
like
a couple of seconds to think about... Nah, I won't take that.
Good call, dude. Like, you're a smart customer. Low kick coming out on Togedemaru, just trying to deal damage. It really, like, at that point, it's all right. Iron Head coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if that KO'd from recent things. Good damage. Like, Togedemaru doing that much damage does not feel normal to me.
Yeah, no, I'm used to Togedemaru's damage just being, like, just barely short of pathetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like, it's like C-. It's like passing, but, like, are you really passing?
Exactly, yeah. And now Excadrill is just in a position to clean up the game.
Yeah.
Dr. Bees does a lot of things, but tanking Earthquakes is not one of them.
Well, like, in the nature hierarchy, moles are higher than bees. So, like, that's what you're seeing here.
Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, and it looks like Steven is ultimately just going to forfeit.
I mean, there is no play he can make at this point to punish the Earthquake.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that just comes from not, like, forgetting about the option of Scarftar just low-kicking Gyarados. I mean, I think that just really caught him by surprise, and Alicia played that amazingly well.
Yeah, she played both games very well. That's a 4-0. I mean, if you want to count the two, it's a 4-0 essentially.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, I mean, game 1, she just did a great job of playing control super well. She made the reads she needed to early on, and then from there, she just kind of played lockdown. And then in game 2, she just kept her well-preserved surprise in the Scarf Tyranitar to really just go and take the game. And now, she's moving on to the top 4.
Yeah, congratulations, Alicia. Like, very well played. Again, if you were here today and just walking around, I constantly heard that Alicia was playing incredibly today. So if she takes this whole thing, I would not be surprised in the slightest.
All right, and let's see who's joining her in the top 4. Patrick Smith and Giovanni Costa will also be in the top 4.
The one Gio himself.
And then we have one more set between Anthony Jimenez and Jack Miller, I believe. Do we know how that's going? Right,
what game are they on? We can get that. Oh, never mind. We can't get that.
What are the top 4 matchups?
It's a mystery to everyone.
Do you not know how brackets work?
Yeah, Gavin, you're just like on another. You probably understand every joke on Rick and Morty, dude.
Alicia plays Gio, and Patrick plays the winner of Anthony versus Jack.
Okay, well, that means we're gonna be bringing you Patrick pretty soon.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, we'll see you guys in a sec.
Yeah, see you soon.